Chelsea are through to the FA Cup final. Now it's a turn of Tottenham and Portsmouth, two sides with so much in common on the pitch, so many contrasts off it. It's the second semi-final of the AXA-sponsored FA Cup, and our commentators are Jim Beglin and Peter Drury.
Thank you, Steve. Another simply perfect Wembley day on which for these individuals to parade. In the Tottenham team, significantly, Vedran Chorluka, who hasn't played since the quarter-final, and Michael Dawson and Tom Huddleston, who were both absent last weekend, all past fit now. It has all come together for them in the nick of time. Gareth Bale reverts to left full-back. The front pair, Peter Crouch and Jermaine Defoe, have both before worn Pompey colours. Mind three of the Portsmouth side once played for Spurs, including Kevin Prince Boateng, who began his season there. This is his first game for 9 weeks because of an ankle injury. It has become quite a science piecing together the various fitness and eligibility issues to come up with a Pompey 11 these days. There are in fact only 4 players here who started last week's home game against Blackburn, and it says everything about their turbulent recent existence that only David James remains from the cup final or semi-final side of 2 years ago. Boateng, Yebda and Dindan return from quite considerable absences. Clubs bonded and divided by shared and shifting personnel, shoulder to shoulder here, friends and rivals. For Spurs, a sense perhaps as a club that they are due this. Jermaine Defoe missed out on Pompey's cup final day. He would happily achieve something similar at Pompey's expense in these colours. Tottenham have won all 3 previous FA Cup meetings between the teams. David James, however, seeks his 4th FA Cup final. The leader on and off the field in his 40th year, still with an eye on the World Cup finals. Portsmouth down in the league yesterday, up for the cup today. Michael Dawson, whose privilege it may be to lift the cup 5 weekends from now. And Aaron Mokwena, over the shoulder of Mark Wilson there, the captain of Portsmouth, who will also lead his country in his home World Cup.
Brings back memories, Peter, this moment in the tunnel, waiting to go out, the nerves. It's the hardest part for a footballer. You just want to get on with it now.
The moment has come.
Here we go. Please welcome to the stadium, your teams, Tottenham Hotspur and Portsmouth.
Malicious is the plot that has Harry Redknapp, the darling of Pompey 2 years ago, pitted against them here now. And how delicious would be the plot that had Avram Grant dispatched by Chelsea off the back of a European Cup final 2 years ago, facing up to Chelsea in an FA Cup final next month. Pompey have had to stay together. All they have is each other. Howard Webb had moments yesterday. It is Alan Wiley's turn in black today, the 2006 FA Cup final referee. Pompey against all odds. Or Tottenham nearly 2 decades since the last time. Chelsea wait for one of them. Spurs right to left in traditional strip, attacking in the first half their own fans. Jermaine Defoe making a menace of himself early on. A generation ago, Jim Beglin played a cup semi-final as a strong favourite with it all to lose and just about squeaked through. Jim, what are the potential pitfalls for Spurs today?
Well, I think Tottenham just can't buy into the fact that everybody expects them to go and win it. We've seen in the past that can lead to sloppiness. I just think Portsmouth's formation looks designed to stop Tottenham from playing through midfield today. And I think if they can stifle them in that area, I think their chances of success get a lot better.
Modric selected on the left side for Spurs, so that Gareth Bale drops back to left back. There's no place for Benoit Asuakoto. That was all as a consequence of the fitness of Tom Huddleston, who's on the ball now. Away from Yebda, who was a late call up to the Pompey 11. Bale. Worrying Finnan, whose last-ditch tackle was key, and whose clearance reaches Huddleston.
I think they'll be seeing a lot of each other because Bale won't hang back, we know that. Yes, he's dropped a full-back today, but he'll still get forward, and Dindan's got to do that as often as he can, track back.
Dawson. Bentley. Tackle on him by Kevin Prince Boateng, who has been out of action for a good long while. He's missed the last 11 games, the German, and disappeared to Germany, a little puzzlingly for some, for a while not so long ago. Piquion, the match winner in the quarter-final against Birmingham.
He had Wilson on, should have picked him out. Did really well, Piquion, to hold that up and keep Dawson away from it and just allow his team to get up and support, because that's important today for Portsmouth, that Piquion doesn't become isolated if Spurs tend to have most of the possession.
Modric. Bale outside of him and beyond him. That is ankle tapped by Dindan. Yebda's making the case for Aruna Dindan.
Yeah, I mean, he stretches out. I'm not sure there's a lot of contact. Seemed to vault over Modric and then go down.
You may remember David Bentley coming off the bench for Spurs in their quarter-final replay against Fulham, and from range not dissimilar to this, scoring with his very first touch. His right foot is favourite for this free kick. Gareth Bale offers the left-footed option. It is Bentley, headed away by Boateng, back in from Huddleston and a long way over.
Well, Yebda did well because he hurried him into it. I think Tom Huddleston at one stage felt he may have just a little bit more time, and once it does fall his way, the free kick from Bentley was a little on the low side. It's good closing down, he's hurried and he snatches at it.
Tottenham have played in two previous famous Wembley FA Cup semi-finals. They beat Arsenal in the first ever semi-final played on this ground in 1991. Everyone recalls the famous Gaza free kick. Gary Lineker scored a couple of goals. They lost to Arsenal here in a semi 2 years later. Michael Brown, unsurprisingly, in the thick of it in the early part of the game.
You expect that from him. I mean, he's had a little look and he's kind of just eased into Peter Crouch, which is why the referee has penalised him. And that, for a moment, I thought was going to be a very nasty coming down for Peter Crouch. There's a lot of body hitting the ground there.
Classic case of the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Here's Bentley, faced by Hayden Mullins, who's having to fill in at left-back again. Nadir Belhaj broke down in training yesterday, and so Mullins, despite a broken hand, well strapped there, has to fill in extremis. He has yielded this corner, Bentley will take it. In Bentley, down by Chorluka, and lifted over by Jermaine Defoe with the assistance of a deflection.
Well, I mean, it's the first header, the little movement towards the front post. Chorluka shouldn't have been allowed to get clear like that, but McQuaina just gets a right foot in there as as Defoe's about to turn it in. Good defending.
Bentley's take. Away by Wilson from the near post. Chased by Dindan. Bale did very well to get there first. Modric coaxed in towards Crouch. Corner. Or so he thought. And so I think initially Alan Wiley indicated.
Just a case of who came off last. McQuain is the one contesting with Crouch as the ball comes in. Maybe he had a point, Peter Crouch. Maybe a nick off him and then off the South African.
Run by Picquion. Out by Dawson. Wilson shielding in front of the back four. Came Palacios. Defoe couldn't get a touch. McQuain beaten to it by Wilson Palacios. Moved on by Huddleston. Bale, Modric. And Huddleston caught by Yebda.
Well, you can see the game plan, Peter, that, you know, Portsmouth are very, very keen on getting tight. I mean, it's good closing down by Yebda, and he just has a little kick out, just clips him on the shin. Avram Grant disagrees.
Modric. Bale. And behind. Well, I was at Wembley yesterday for the Villa-Chelsea semi-final. Many of you will have watched it at home, and it was noisy. But I'm bound to say to you, I think it is up a notch or two here today. Pompey supporters are famous for their din. Spurs are having a good sing-song too, and the atmosphere is febrile, even inside the first 10 minutes of the semi-final.
And it's nice to see players staying on their feet a lot more as well. I think the pitch is playing better, of course. It hasn't been watered today. It's been allowed to dry a little, and you can see the results.
Russia. He threw up an arm in defence of himself and the ball, having offered Defoe a side of it. Alan Worley saw nothing untoward. Russia himself has been damaged, but to what extent is he guilty here?
There just seemed to be a little more in that, didn't I? I think he knew that he had Defoe just over his left shoulder, and there just seemed to be a little more power used in swinging the arm back then from Russia.
Ricardo Rocha is one of the three in the Pompey side with former Spurs connections. Defoe, as we all know, one of those in the Spurs side who used to play for Pompey. They are, each of them, thoroughly entrenched in their current loyalty now.
David James needs to kind of ease off a little bit. He's just kicked it to Gomez, overdid it, and he's apologised. The hand went up to Picquion.
Huddleston. Luka. Defoe kept at bay by Rocha, but with support from Bentley, whose feet are sweet. Wilson's tackle. Luka. Wilson is absolutely fundamental to Portsmouth's defensive shape, the way they've set up.
It's tiring work, Peter, because Tottenham have got all the ball and Portsmouth are doing all the chasing. That becomes hard after a while.
Basson, Bale. Wilson in with too much eagerness at the back of Palacios. Bale has taken it quickly. Bentley looked to flick it on, and McQuain nudged it behind.
Yeah, an urgency about what Spurs are doing.
Modric with Brown backpedaling. He'll get another go. He set it back for Bentley. Coaxed in by Bentley towards Crouch, and spilled by James behind for a corner. Spilled by James, you would say, in his defence, under pressure from Frederick Picquion.
Yeah, well, it just needs communication. Piquion's got to tell him it's yours or it's mine, and David James hears nothing and feels he has to go for it.
Bentley without swing, and James across to thwart Crouch.
Well, he was unsure because of Defoe just in front of him. He's unsure whether it's going to take a little nick. Good header from Crouch. Is it going to get a touch? He's just happy to get a hand on it, and it just comes back off McQuaina and goes out for a corner. Very uncertain.
Could have fallen either side of the post from McQuaina. Bentley this time within swing. Away by Kevin Prince Boateng, and chased out by Piquion, who has Dindan one way, Yeb to the other. Piquion! Got a deflection, but he had seemingly kinder options either side of him.
Well, I mean, he had to run a long way for it as well, but it takes a little deflection which took the sting out of it. Didn't redirect it too much and allowed Gomez to drop on it.
Bale, he's crunched through Brown, got away from Finnan. Bale's cross, nudged calmly out by Mullins. Dindan. Yebda caught on it, Bentley turning, flag is up.
Well, it's smashing, isn't it? I mean, that break from Portsmouth, you know Tottenham are taking the game to Pompey as much as they can. But that's what Portsmouth are going to rely on. Just kind of absorb it and then try and be a little incisive on the break. And just at the beginning of that breakaway as well, just look here. He was unhappy, Huddleston, with that from Yebda, and 2 or 3 of the Spurs players complained to Alan Wiley about that they felt Yebda was kind of looking for it a little bit as well. We've seen a couple of stray arms so far.
There's another one from Brown, and this one has been penalised. On the receiving end, and see how close Alan Wiley was to make his judgment there.
Just a little bit of a dead one, isn't it? A dead leg, dead hip kind of feel. I think he's going to be okay, Bentley. Moving a little better now.
Basson, Huddleston, Dawson. Forward by Chorluka. Seen by Rocha, this is Mullins. Piquion turning, away from Dawson, and away from Basson for Dindan. Bale's intervention crucial. Crouch has received. Modric. Crouch. It's a fantastically competitive semi-final. There's nothing stale about this. Modric. Luka Modric has skied it.
He has, but again, there was good pressing. McQuaina was the one that managed to get out to him, put him under pressure, but Piquion did brilliantly before that. Extremely well. And this is just, once he gets through to that position, you know, it just makes it awkward for him, doesn't it? McQuaina challenge. And Piquion did brilliantly before that. It's a good challenge from Dawson, who recovered well. Bale managed to get it away, but for a moment it looked as if Dindan was going to be through.
Wilson, Mullins. Pushed out by Huddleston. Crouch. Fiddling with the margins. The ball went out. Not so long since Peter Crouch was knocking in a couple of goals for England here against Egypt. Peter Crouch, who's been sold by Harry Redknapp a couple of times, and indeed bought by him once. Sloping shoulders of Avram Grant, but probably the broadest shoulders in Premier League management this year.
Well, importantly, and I referred to it early on, you know, they have to have an out, Portsmouth, and Piquion, I think, looks on it today, looks strong, and he's given Dawson and Basson a hard time when he gets it.
Modric, Palacios, Huddleston, Bentley. Twitched it away and behind. Across the line before Mullins got there.
Pretty much a third centre-back, Peter. Yes, his job is to be the anchor in midfield, to sit deeper than anybody else and patrol in front of the centre-backs, but he can drop in whenever required.
Bentley to take again at the Spurs end. Dawson jumped together with Basson, and his header was over. He missed out at Sunderland last week because of an Achilles injury after having started the previous 28 games in a row. He has been the must-pick at the back for Spurs this season. There's no Yunus Kabul this week. He's cup-tied because of his involvement with Portsmouth, so Dawson's return is really important.
He's not given up on the World Cup either. Still hopeful.
Palacios, Modric. The referee's brought it back because of Dindan's collision with Palacios. Oh, not a pretty one.
Yeah, I mean, he's just it's clumsy, isn't it? Because the ball's gone, and he hasn't made huge contact, but it's reckless. And I think that's what he was appealing to Alan Wiley for. Look, I haven't really caught him here, but you don't lunge in like that. You're just giving the referee an excuse.
Runa Dindan, who by some contractual quirk, it turns out, is able to play in this game without costing Pompey £4 million. Whether or not he'd be able to play in a final, should it follow, is a matter for further debate. And here's the recipient of the semi-final's first yellow card. Alan Wiley's first touch worked out okay for Bale, who is slithering in the manner of several here yesterday. Flung in by Bale, beyond Crouch. Here's a Spurs throw. Palacios. And by Hayden Mullins, who would have more cause than many to want to reach a cup final. Might recall he was suspended for West Ham's final against Liverpool in 2006 when he got into a fight with Luis Garcia of Liverpool in a league game at Upton Park just a couple of weeks before the final, and they both got suspended after being sent off. Must be one of the great regrets of both of their lives.
Yeah, tough enough job as well. I mean, he's not a natural left back, and David Bentley, as we know, has been in very good form in Tottenham's cup run. I've seen him a couple of times trying to pull Kevin Prince Boateng back just to kind of help him out a little bit more and give him that double protection.
Lucas squeezed the ball through, but then went over. Bentley actually went over, and here's Defoe. Bentley is back on his feet again. Modric couldn't get through Brown. Tottenham's free kick. Modric took it quickly. Crouch for Bale. With Finnan backpedaling. Squeezed in towards Defoe, who lost his footing in the box.
Finnan's done well with Bale a couple of times. The experience is playing a part. And it seemed better at the start, but one or two are beginning to slip a bit more now.
They're skating again, aren't they? Kevin Prince Boateng, look at that. Trickion couldn't stop himself.
He couldn't. I mean, it's one of those now, Peter. It's like if it's not into feet and somebody's on the run, then trying to actually stop and get there is going to be nigh on impossible.
So many different versions of the problem with the pitch here. People said to me beforehand that it's fine. Here's Palacios. Defoe's onside! And couldn't keep it from going behind. Just saying that nothing so much wrong with the pitch itself as perhaps the watering policy. The moments before the game, the amount of water flung onto it. There are parts where it's cutting up. So I had a text before the game, Jim, from a friend who is admittedly a very bitter Aston Villa supporter after what happened yesterday, but his first line was, enjoyed dancing on ice.
Yeah. Well, it's because of the firmness underneath. I was down there earlier on and stood on it, and like all the modern surfaces, it is very, very solid underneath. So that layer, if it's any way wet at all, then people are going to start going over.
Boateng's throw. It's come out to Dindan. It's a corner. Pompey fans at the east end of the ground haven't had much of a view of their team in the first quarter of the game, but they're right behind Kevin Prince Boateng now. Bale's header away, hooked further out by Bentley. Finnan. Boateng. Dindan has gone to ground.
He's got to be careful, Dindan, because was he applauding the referee's decision then, and not to give anything? It's not somewhere he should go. That was the first time, I think, in the match we'd seen more or less the whole Portsmouth team push right up to the halfway line and get many bodies into the opposition half. It's been on the break until now.
Modric. Defoe, flag has stayed down, James has come up, and actually so ultimately did the flag go up.
Yeah, very tight. There's only a little bit in this. There he goes now as usual, Defoe on the shoulder, and the assistant has called it. He is just off. Wouldn't have gotten there anyway.
Header away by Chorluka to Dindan! Corner.
That's the important thing. Anybody looking to pull the trigger on the edge of the box, you've got to have people closing down. And as Chorluka got the header away, I mean, he's done well to control it and then hit, but there's enough attention from Tottenham.
Portsmouth's best spell in the section of sunshine at their end. Boateng's corner. Bale clear. Finnan. Coaxed back in by Mullins. Picquion!
Yeah, maybe he made it harder for himself in electing to go first time. Very, very difficult skill, that one.
Huddleston, nicely switched for Bale. Aimed in at Defoe. Header partially cleared from Rocha. Is left to throw to Chorluka. Modric. Not a bad try from that angle. Small target area.
Well, it shouldn't have happened though. I mean, look at the amount of time he's given, Peter. And Portsmouth have got plenty of players back there. And this is one Picquion onside, and you know, coming out of the air like that, it's very difficult to get a good solid strike, especially from that angle. That was against him too.
We're looking forward to a Champions League semi-final if things had worked out differently. Frederic Picquion on loan from Lyon, who have Bayern Munich in their sights, but will presumably be fielding Lisandro Lopez instead of him. Dindan.
Well, that wasn't the pitch. He's looking at it, Dindan. That was from Modric.
Picquion out by Bassong. Down from Yebda. Bassong was a little too muscular. And this is a real chance for Pompey.
Might fancy a bit of this himself, Kevin Prince Boateng, who won the free kick. This is a very good position. Gomez is going to need to get busy and get the wall set up well.
Boateng is over the ball. His only FA Cup goal of the season was the first of the run against Coventry in January. He did score against Tottenham at Fratton Park in October. He began the season as a Spurs player. It's Boateng. He's pulled it right across the face.
Yeah, the keeper was well positioned too. I think he was set to trust his wall to guard one side and he was staying on the other, Gomez, and he had it covered all the way. I think he realised it was always going past the post. Not the greatest strike, was it? Wasn't the cleanest from Boateng.
Played half an hour's football for Tottenham this season at Doncaster in the League Cup in August. Hasn't played any football for anyone for more than 60 days since hobbling out of a 5-0 defeat at Old Trafford at the beginning of February. Palacios.
We're just happy to get everybody deep, Portsmouth, and defend the 18-yard box.
By Basson, on by Modric. Jermaine Defoe closed out by Finnan. Basson for Huddleston. In towards Crouch! Comfortably enough held by David James.
That's the first. He got one from a header, from a corner before. He got a good header, Peter Crouch. That's the first time in open play they've really picked him out. And Huddleston does well. Just flights it nicely, gives him a chance to compete with Rocha, and he wins it easily. But just from his reaction, Crouch, just feel that he maybe felt he could have got that towards the corner.
It was at exactly this point of the Premier League game between the two at White Hart Lane a fortnight ago that Peter Crouch scored the opening goal. He and Nico Kranjčar, who's on the Spurs bench today, were the two scorers against former employers on that occasion. A good tackle by Palacios. Bentley out of a tight corner. Chorluka. Palacios. Bale. Dindan stayed with him well, actually.
This guy's looked good to me, Mark Wilson. I mean, that's very composed again.
Brown. Boateng. Dawson came to shut him down. Boateng has found the way round. Dindan. Huddleston struggling. Dindan. Too much for Piquion. Yebda can keep it alive. Back in by Yebda. And pouched by Gomez.
Yeah, it was a poor ball in the end from Yebda. It was better from Dindan before that, but pretty much Piquion was the only one around the 6-yard box he could pick out and didn't get close. It's a lovely contest because, you know, Spurs, we expected, are silkier and more confident in possession, more fluid on the ball, and yet there's a feistiness about Portsmouth. There's a good organisation about them in trying to thwart Tottenham from playing, and you know that they're happy when they can to get into the opposition half and have a go.
It is pleasingly competitive. Dindan. Piquion. Beyond Basson, but not Palacios. He's stuck in a foot like that the season long. Modric. Palacios. Chorluka has gone beyond Bentley. Mullins across to meet him. Bentley wide of it. Defoe holding off Rocha. Bentley's cross. And James kept it from Crouch.
That is good goalkeeping. If he can, Peter, whenever the ball is flighted in like that, if he can come and take it off Crouch's head, it's a big bonus for him.
Dindan Ailing again, off the back of coming together with Gareth Bale. Spurs have won both this season's Premier League meetings. A grumpy one at Fratton Park in October, in which Michael Brown and Jermaine Defoe were both sent off, and a rather tame one at White Hart Lane at the end of last month. Spurs have won all three previous FA Cup meetings. Last two times Spurs have beaten Pompey in the FA Cup, 67 and 91. They've gone on to win it. 67, the team of Jennings and Kinnear and Knowles, Mullery, Mackay, Greaves, Gilzine, Venables, famous names all. And the opposition in that year's final, Chelsea.
He's done well a couple of times in competing with Dawson, hasn't he? Picky on, but that was a foul and the Spurs centre-half jumped into. Another nod to the face, Mark Wilson.
Modric was closest to him then. Can't honestly believe that little Luka Modric would want to pick a fight with Wilson. I think this was entirely inadvertent.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think he realised that Wilson's closing the space, and his arm is already out before he even arrives. He more or less runs into it, Wilson, doesn't he?
Wiley with a chance to make his explanation. Still nothing on the scoreboard after the first half an hour, as indeed was the case yesterday. But a really eventful, really feisty, really heartfelt game this. Avram Grant, between whose reign at Portsmouth and that of Harry Redknapp came Tony Adams and Paul Hart, in a turbulent time for that club and for those supporters. Those fans of Spurs like the others at the Portsmouth end have become accustomed to their trips to Wembley. This is Portsmouth's fourth in 3 years, semi-final, final, Community Shield, and now another semi-final. Spurs have been to the last two League Cup finals before this year. Well, Wilson needs the flow stemmed. Tottenham have the opportunity to capitalise on his absence. Without the third centre-half, Portsmouth defending here against Bentley. Boateng in the way.
Yeah, it'll be left to Brown and Yebda, who've worked hard, terrier-like, in trying to close Tottenham down.
Chorluka, Modric. Huddleston met it. Yebda came to get it. Wilson has rejoined and becomes a spare man wide for Portsmouth here. Piquion. Corner. Well, you can call that a lucky break, I suppose. But Wilson re-entered the field of play at the most pertinent moment.
Timing, all about the timing.
Enter stage right, whether on cue or not. And it has helped Pompey to earn this corner. Just more than 10 minutes to go before half-time. Boateng. Dindan. In goes Yebda, out by Bale. Met by Finnan. Lifted back in towards Piquion, who jumps with Dawson and keeps it from him for Mullins. Wilson. Out by Bassong, it bounced off Huddleston, and Gomez was able to come and collect.
There was an appeal for a handball by Yebda, but Alan Wiley's dismissed it and said get on with it. Just thinking in one of the earlier games when we saw Tottenham play at the Reebok Stadium that day, Bentley couldn't get back on the pitch and Bolton scored.
Absolutely right, well remembered. And it felt doubly sore if Wilson's return had cost him a goal now. Huddleston, what a super ball for Bale. And a smashing instinctive idea from Gareth Bale to hit a cushioned volley cross.
You're right, I mean, you can't knock either. It's a lovely ball over the top from Huddleston, well-timed run to stay onside, and he's done the right thing in trying to knock it first time to the run of Crouch front post. But again, they're not easy to direct properly. I just think Pompey have done well, haven't they? They said, look, we're going to be organised, we're going to be disciplined about what we intend to do today. Can you come up with the guile? Can you have the invention to break us down? They're going to make Tottenham work hard for this.
Defoe. Huddleston. Bale. Taken off his toe by Yebda. Dindan. Yebda. Piquion wants it, and it's onside. Frederick Piquion for Pompey. Great save, Gomez. Dindan. And Gomez has it again.
Well, I'm amazed Dindan has actually gone to try and play in Boateng in the end. But Gomez has kept the side in it here because that's what they've been doing all along. Again, brilliantly timed from Piquion. Wonderful run. You feel maybe he could have done a little bit better because, for me, he's fired it at Gomez. Keeper did well to save it nonetheless.
Bentley for Spurs. Mullins has blocked his path. Wilson away.
Well, how open is it now?
Brown. Thought semi-finals were meant to be the cagey games.
Well, they can often be very, very tense. I mean, my experiences of him was certainly the case. He's in great position here. Is that a top-class effort, Peter? I would say no. You know, you think you'd be looking for either post then, Piquion, and he's fired it at Gomez, but the keeper had done well. Good starting position, got there early.
Frederick Piquion, who's wonderful finishing, won the quarter-final against Birmingham at Fratton Park.
Yeah, he was the hero. And the first one was a bit of a tap-in that day, but the second one was very well taken. Here we go again.
Brown, Piquion ahead of it. And Yebda. Caught between two stools. Dawson clear. Modric. Bale. Finnan's labouring to stay with him. Bale's gone right round the outside. And it's scraped away by Wilson. Dindan. Ball stopped for a breather.
Bale struggling to get back, let's put it that way. It was a fantastic run from the fullback again to get round Finnan.
Jermaine Defoe. And Defoe again. Blocked by McQuainer. Modric. Huddleston. Shawluka. Crouch. Huddleston. Oh, good shape on that shot. James was at full stretch. What a beautifully invented strike from Tom Huddleston.
Well, I mean, he didn't seem to really get much pullback on the shot, did he? But he just seemed to poke it, and it was just looked destined for the top corner. That's a wonderful save from James.
Just faded it, Huddleston. Westward round arm end corner. Bentley's take, Crouch over.
Well, now you can see he's crossing himself. That was a decent chance. Yeah, he's a bit of a distance from goal, but nobody has jumped with him. It's a free header, and Peter Crouch, you would expect better. I mean, again, look at that. He's just kind of had a poke at it, Huddleston. Got great power behind it, and the direction is fabulous, and the save matches it all. Wonderful stuff.
Problem for Hayden Mullins.
It looks like cramp. Or is it hamstring? Could be hamstring, you know.
Angelos Bassinas, the experienced Greek, is ready to come on. Not sure whether he would fit directly into that position if required. As though Mullins is intent on returning.
Well, there was a little thumbs up, wasn't there, in that little walk to the touchline then? Yeah, Basinas has returned.
It would be a real problem for Avram Grant to lose his left back. Mullins himself is a deputy for Nadir Belhaj. And there is no other specialist in that position on the bench.
I wouldn't say Tottenham have played badly, Peter, far from it, but they've not been as good as they'd like to be either. They've never really got the passing going, and the cutting edge is not quite there. A couple of half chances they've created, and that great shot from Huddleston. I think Harry Redknapp will be looking for a little bit more. I think Portsmouth, in turn, have gone about their business extremely well.
Bale's throw, Crouch's cross, Bentley's arrival, Mullins header away, Palacios, Chorluka wide. Palacios has asked a lot of Chorluka, but my word, he thought he kept it in. The flag is actually up. Millimetres. I thought Vedran Chorluka did brilliantly well there.
Well, we're a lot further from it than the assistant. I thought it was in.
It stayed in, didn't it?
Yeah, the whole of the ball's not over the whole of the line then. Got away with it.
Wonderful athleticism from the Croatian right back. Portsmouth had a kind goal line decision in the quarter-final too, didn't they, when Liam Ridgewell scored for Birmingham.
That was after the announcement from FIFA, wasn't it?
Yes.
We're not bringing in goal line technology. Yeah, great timing that.
Great timing from Set. Finnan. Up in the air by Rocha. Mullins seems to be moving okay. Yeah, he missed the cup final. He did play the semi-final for West Ham against Middlesbrough in 2006 at Villa Park. Palacios. Modric. Flung in by Bentley. Crouch didn't get airborne.
No, he tried to backtrack a little bit more, but Finnan prevented him from doing so.
There's one or two out there who I think are ready for half-time. Huddleston has been an extraordinarily energetic first half. And there are some heavy legs. Dindan, Piquion, Dindan. Turned into a cul-de-sac, but drew a challenge from Huddleston.
He got lucky, Dindan, because he had a chance to release it inside to Yebda. And he's going to be yellow carded for that, Huddleston. But he could have played it. Instead he got mixed up and he got away with it. He does slip into him, really. It's not malicious, is it, from Huddleston? He slips into him, and Dindan got very fortunate then.
Just wonder how Huddleston is feeling. He was subject to the biggest query in terms of Tottenham's team selection. He was injured last week, and his final inclusion in the 11 wasn't for sure until quite late this morning. In the last minute of the first half, he has yielded this free kick to Kevin Prince Boateng, which is wasted.
Well, just before half-time, you're looking for a good delivery then. Give people a chance to compete, and that was a waste. Defoe will always be a danger, Peter, while he's on the pitch and trying to make these runs. But, Portsmouth have been so deep so often that he's not really had the chance to get in behind. I just think Crouch has a height advantage against most defenders, but particularly Rocha and Mokoena. I think if Tottenham can get good ball into him, I think there's more there for Crouch in this.
Bentley. Chorluka. Crouch stooped beneath it. and looks up as if accusing his assailant. Piquion has moved it on for Pompey, and Bale has stolen it back. 2 minutes to add at the end of the first half. Modric. Oh, brilliant. And Crouch. And Bentley. And Bentley. Behind off Mullins for a corner.
That's great blocking all around on both counts. First Wilson from Crouch as he tried to spin on it. Once it just comes in, Modric did brilliantly, almost weaved his way right through, and now Crouch thinks, I've got a bit of room. Wilson gets the block, and Mullins is quick, doesn't know much about the first one, but did well to close the second one.
Bentley's corner, good header out by Rocha. Good header back in by Bale. Oh, McQuainer misjudged that and was glad to see James come and gobble it up behind him.
Yeah, it's just as well it was Piquion lurking, not a Spurs player then. See, that's another thing that I think they've been very successful at Pompey today, that just not allowing Bentley the chance to get it at Mullins too often. I mean, that was brilliant hustling from Michael Brown. That's what he's good at. As feisty as they come, never shirks a tackle, that character.
Take a breath. An exhausting first half. Hugely high on energy, high on incident, but low on goals because of a couple of brilliant saves. James clawed one away from his top corner. Gomez saw the whites of Piquion's eyes and kept him from goal. As a result of which, at the break, despite much entertainment, it remains Spurs 0, Portsmouth 0.
Well, there may be no money in the bank, but there's still clearly a great deal of spirit in that Portsmouth dressing room. 0-0 in a highly committed first half. And Jamie O'Hara, outstanding for Portsmouth this season. He's our studio guest. His thoughts, plus those of
What these two have done in the FA Cup this year, they have, both Pompey and Spurs, been second-half sides. 11 of Tottenham's 17 FA Cup goals have come in the second half, and Portsmouth have only scored 2 of their 11 in the first half between rounds 3 and 6. There's been an awful lot of last-minute business, late business in either team. Spurs have required a replay in round 4 and in round 5 and in round 6. There is no facility for a replay in the semi-final. Someone will have to find a decisive moment at some point today. Jim Beglin, any clues?
Yeah, as I kind of hinted in the first half, I think Harry Redknapp will be the one probably looking for more from his side, and we've seen it. You know, first halves haven't gone to their liking score-wise in this competition. You know, Leeds second half, Bolton second half, at home to Fulham second half. They've managed to find another level, Tottenham. I mean, Portsmouth won't change what they're doing. They'll carry on the same light, but I think you're looking to Spurs now to see if they can up it.
Spurs start the second half with a David Bentley free kick, as they did in the quarter-final replay against Fulham. Dawson clouted out by Boateng. Last man back is Palacios. Gianluca. The whole pitch now in the shade. Dawson aim forward at Crouch, and Defoe! Oh, that is some block. Rocha going across at the feet of Jermaine Defoe with an heroic intervention.
That is a brilliant block, it really is, because he flung himself. He knew that Defoe was just pulling the left foot at it. Crucial stop. David James might have had problems with that one.
Ricardo Rocha, who had a little time away from English football in Belgium with Standard Liège between his Tottenham spell and returning here with Portsmouth. Redknapp, as Jim says, has tended to get the best out of his side as a result of his half-time words. And those words that went before. And Avram Grant, whose Portsmouth team have been right on the edge in this competition more than once, most notably in the third round when they trailed Coventry until gifted a last-minute own goal. And then on a freezing day in January, Aaron Mokoena got a winner in the 120th minute. There is Mokoena. Dindan. Yebda couldn't get round Bale. Here's Modric. Well, Pompey waited until the second half before they blitzed Southampton as well in the big derby match. Here's Crouch.
Yeah, he stretched that big frame of his, but still unable to keep it in and get it across goal. I was at that game you referred to, Peter, Portsmouth at Coventry in the replay. I can't believe they're here, because that night they left it so late. I know it was an own goal that helped them to extra time, and then they went on to win it, but I admire their pluckiness, the way they've kept going, and I guess they found this competition, I suppose, a sense of direction, haven't they? Something to focus on more and something they could make progress in.
Have you thawed out yet since that night at Coventry?
By the way, you're right. That was probably the coldest, the wind chill.
If Pompey win the cup, they will think fondly of Stephen Wright, who headed in right at the end of that third round tie. But the FA Cup is full of stories like that. Yebda.
By the way, I had the warmth of the studio that night. It was Townsend that was freezing.
Mullins with the throw. Boateng. Dindan. Boateng! Just didn't sit for him.
Shame. That's lovely football. Really is. Good 1- and 2-touch stuff. And better from Dindan as well. A couple of times, I think, today he's just dwelt on a little bit. That was just good, quick ball. Look, first time, lovely first touch from Boateng, and second not so great, but nice and swift.
Bale. Modric. Finnan kept it from Bale and kept it in play. Finished back from halfway. Sebastian Bassong. Steve Finnan, he was a cup winner with Liverpool in 2006 at West Ham's expense. Played all 2 hours of that game, which was the last final played at Cardiff, which Steven Gerrard dragged into extra time. Forward by Rocha.
Just say that the first half went at an amazing pace, didn't it? 45 minutes just flew by. I don't know whether it's just me or whether there's been a little bit of an easing off at the start of this second half. Players seem to be taking it a bit steadier, because the energy expended in that opening 45 was much.
On wrestling for possession, and being tugged out. Boateng chose to take a quick one, and Alan Wiley is going to let him take it again. Now, this is always going to be contentious. Spurs make the argument that if he took it quickly and fluffed it, or they were in the way, wasn't that his bad luck?
Well, the referee's always going to be right in a position like this, isn't he? I mean, I would have thought, yeah, it's tough. Look, you tried to take it quickly and it didn't work out for you, but
Alan Wiley has now indicated that Steve Finnan must wait for the whistle. Indeed, Finnan is ceding his responsibilities to Boateng. Gomez got fingers on that.
I think he had to in the end. I think before that he was just unsure whether some of the incoming bodies was going to get a little touch on this. That's why he waited, but did well, the keeper. That's a very good ball in. Just misses Modric. I think he's happy to get anything on it, Gomez.
Michael Brown once waspishly of Spurs with the corner. Header out by Bale. Bentley competing with Finnan. Palacios for Chorluka, who's hit an immediate diagonal towards Defoe. Header away by Mokwena. Gathered first by Modric, who's dispossessed in turn by Dindan. Good push and go from the Ivorian, but Bale is quick.
He gave himself a lot to do, but just a little shaky one from Bale back to Gomez. Yeah, you don't give Bale a 3-yard start and think you're gonna outrun him.
Foul by Yebda on Modric, and the noise is cranked up again. Bale has got away from Dindan and can attack Finnan. So his cross is deflected kindly for James.
Yeah, Finnan's just had a little word. I think he felt Dindan could have been a little stronger in the challenge and try to deny Bale a chance to run at the full-back. That third centre-back again, just tucked in close to Mokwena and Russia, and Wilson dealt with it.
Finnan against Modric's hand. Now Boateng tripped. They really are a noisy lot. Portsmouth gang. Visit to Fratton Park is always an ear-splitting experience, and they have brought the Fratton Park experience north to Wembley. Here's Wilson and Boateng and Dindan. Basong stood his ground.
It was well defended.
And by Yebda. Bale's deflection helped out Gomez. Now Modric.
I just hope, Peter, that the pitch doesn't get blamed if a multi-million-pound star does get injured and it denies him maybe a chance to play in an FA Cup final here. Because that's the last thing I think the FA will wish for.
Modric for Tottenham. Bale. Early cross for Crouch. See there James again. Finnan stretched out a leg and found Dindan, who has Piquion ahead of him. Disappearing into the penalty area now. Dindan, Piquion!
Well, I just felt that maybe he should have got something more powerful to test Gomez. That was a great break by Portsmouth at the right. It looks as if they were going to be closed down. Finnan somehow managed to find Dindan when Huddleston was closing him down. And it's a wonderful cross.
Defoe. Bentley. Defoe had been held by Brown, but the best chances of the game have all fallen to Frederick Piquion.
Yeah, well, the shot in the first half I thought he should have done better with. I thought he just seems to adjust his footing and he doesn't get any power, doesn't generate enough.
Bale. Aim towards Crouch, Defoe. Didn't quite catch it right.
Yeah. Well, the knockdown from Peter Crouch is perfect for him, and he knows he has to take it quickly, and I think, again, the reaction tells you, hands went straight on the head. It's at the goalkeeper, and I think he felt could have been more in that for me.
And Roman Pavlyuchenko is preparing to replace one of them. Jermaine Defoe and Peter Crouch have between them 30 FA Cup goals for 7 different clubs. it would appear they're about to be separated. Unless Harry's going to go with all three. Finnan. Boateng. Finnan. Boateng and Dindan. Yebda. Boateng. Away by Huddleston. Forward again from Rocha. Boateng. And Dawson kept it from Piquion.
Yeah, just a little nudge from the centre-back, and Piquion got the touch.
He's scored in half a dozen games since the quarter-final. Roman Pavlyuchenko has got a couple of goalless games since scoring 9 in 8. His contribution to this FA Cup run has been immense. Clive Allen knew how to score a goal in his day and passes on good wishes to the Russian, who has contributed 4 goals to this season's Cup run. Bentley. Eased out by Rocha.
Yeah, he has a nice habit, Roman Pavlyuchenko, of making a big difference when he's come on a couple of times this season in the competition for Tottenham.
Here is the change. Roman Pavlyuchenko, who came off the bench one Saturday night against Leeds and scored crucially in round 4, came off the bench against Fulham in the quarter-final and scored a couple also in the replay against Bolton in round 5, and replaces Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah, you wouldn't say Defoe is back to his best since the injury he picked up a while ago. He missed the best part of a month, Peter, didn't he? And not quite been as strong or as incisive as we saw for most of the season.
Pavlyuchenko, relatively newly beloved of the Tottenham support. Huddleston.
I think again Harry is playing on the height issue. I mean, you get good ball in now. You've got two. You've got Crouch and Pavlyuchenko.
Bentley. Well, he had little space out of which to manoeuvre the cross he wanted. James has dispatched it hurriedly and too strongly. An apology follows. A man who is still stuck on 49 international caps and is very keen that the 50th should follow soon. Here's Bale running at his goal, away from Finnan. Cleared by Mokwena. Palacios. An hour gone of the second semi-final of the Aeon-sponsored FA Cup. Still nothing to choose between a team which was relegated yesterday and a team which has grand designs on next year's Champions League. The Pompey chimes represent the loudest noise in here. Modric. Bale. Finnan backpedaling. Bale in a crouch, big shout for handball. Finnan the would-be offender. Crouch came out for Palacios. Chorluka. Chorluka squeezed it wide, left-footed.
I mean, Bale's had some success, hasn't he, on the left? Steve Finnan's got a couple of blocks in too, but he's very close to him, and the arm's up there and he's not even looking at it. I mean, when it's slowed down like that, it looks worse. When it's at full speed, when it happened, it came in really quickly, and not for me. It might have been just outside as well.
I was going to say there would have been two issues there.
Yeah.
One, the extent to which it was deliberate, and the other, which Harry Redknapp might have a view on, though it would be not the best view in the house. Which side of the line did it strike his hand? Dindan, away from Bale. Yebda wide of it. Hassan Yebda, it's bounced back off the Pompey man. And the Algerian got that full in the face. Salt in the wound, it's a goal kick too.
There's nothing he can do about that. Comes off Basong's knee catches him right in the face, and I think he's probably going to need a wet sponge on that before he gets back into the action.
He certainly can't be in the action now. He's about 45 yards offside. Luka. Palacios, Modric, towed away from him by Finnan. Modric, Pavlyuchenko holds off Brown and goes for goal.
Well, David James looked very, very sure that was going wide from early, but let's see how close it actually was in the end. Just kind of stay off him a little bit. Okay, I think the keeper was safe enough. I think he got his angles right, and I think Pavlyuchenko just got across it a little bit, swerved away. Just use of the arm, isn't it, by Crouch?
Bale. Crouch for Modric. Palacios, Bentley, Luka wide of him. Palacios, rolled for Bale. And touch behind by Finnan before it reached Pavlyuchenko.
It's an important touch because you could see Bale's reaction. He felt that if he could have threaded that one through, Pavlyuchenko was in space.
Still no headline name on the occasion. Bentley's corner, James has come! Oh! And was dangerously close to no man's land as Peter Crouch leapt.
Well, has the goalkeeper just done enough to put him off? Oh, do you know what? Maybe he's not expecting it to come through, but I thought Crouch should have scored that. But then again, if he thinks it's not going to arrive at him, maybe that's why he couldn't quite steer it inside the post.
Maybe his first trip. He's not finding it entirely comfortable. Tottenham were supposed to win this comfortably, and it is not happening. Bentley and Crouch. He's got longer legs than anyone else. Still wasn't quite long enough.
Smashing ball in from Bentley.
Now Modric and Bale. Pavlyuchenko.
It's a good jump by Russia, but I mean Tottenham now are beginning to threaten much more. Good ball from Bentley, another good delivery from Bale, and Portsmouth kind of hanging on a little bit. But this is good defending. Russia just gets tight enough to Pavlyuchenko and forces him to go high.
Kick against Palacios for a foul on Michael Brown.
Just looking at Dawson and competing with Picky on second half, looks much more assertive. Very committed now. Lost a couple of duels in the first half, not so second.
Dindan, Yebda, Wilson, Brown, Boateng, Finnan. Crouch won it for Modric. Oh, Huddleston hurried up by Brown. Piquion couldn't give it him back.
Just looked a little leggy. I think you alluded to it first half, Peter, because of the fact that he's newly back. Just looks a little leggy at times.
Modric, Pavlyuchenko. Just got Russia, who's having a very solid game at centre-half.
He is. Experienced boy.
Different challenge for him now. Different puzzle with Roman Pavlyuchenko running at him. Here is Huddleston. And Modric, and Bale is in space wide. Bale, crouch! Oh, that's some challenge by McQuainer.
The two centre-backs are doing fantastically well for me. I mean, Crouch is thinking all I have to do is get a touch, because the ball from Bale goes through Finnan's legs, but it's right on. That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Had to make it.
Leadership and drive and togetherness. Portsmouth somehow sticking at it. Bentley's take, James's catch. Looking for an instant outlet, and apparently bemused there wasn't one, but he hasn't been running around for the last 70 minutes.
No, but a couple of times he's tried and he's just knocked it all the way to Gomez, hasn't he, James? So I think he thought, no, I'll be a bit more sensible on this one. Oh, that's poor.
Error by McQuainer. Pavlyuchenko.
That's a bit of a waste. Yeah, Crouch, I think, has let him know about that one. He'd made his mind up early. He was going to try and shoot Pavlyuchenko, and put the ball inside might have been a much better option.
Flung wide by Huddleston. Bale tackled by Dindan, who refuses to be tackled back. Hurdled two challenges, and then Boateng wasted all his good work.
Expected a little bit more from him today, Boateng.
Well, he's been out for a while too. Here's Modric. Palacios. Pavlyuchenko. Bounce back out for Chorluka. Bentley. Teasing Mullins. Chorluka. Away by Finnan. Huddleston. And Vegjan Chorluka. And McQuainer has smuggled it away from his own goal line.
This is either the coolest defending I've ever seen, or he got a little bit lucky with the first touch. Because Chorluka, look at him, he's in space all the while, just get it poked through. I think he was in control of that, you know. I think it was a deliberate touch.
Pompey are really hemmed in now. Bentley. Mullins away. Huddleston. Wilson away. Brown just wants to buy them some time. They've barely been able to cross the halfway line for a little while, but they do so now with Boateng. And Piquion is up alongside. It's Kevin Prince Boateng. And Gomez fell on it.
The right idea. I think he's feeling it a bit now, as he said, Peter. You know, he's been out as well, and it's a smash and run from him. And, you know, he's ended up getting a little poke inside, looking for Piquion, but just can't get enough on it to get past Gomez, and keeper read it well.
Pavlyuchenko. Out comes McQuainer. Driven wide for Boateng, who can run at Dawson here. And Dindan! And Piquion and Bale away.
It just seemed to be stuck under his feet in the end, Dindan. And it really wasn't as clean as he would have liked, but Boateng is really feeling it now.
Yebda, Finnan, Brown, Yebda. Up in the air by Basson. Down by Huddleston, only for Boateng, over.
Good try, very good try. Again, never easy, you know, the first touch was good and he set it up for the volley very well, but it's just getting control. That's not a good header though, is it, from Huddleston? Should have been getting a little bit more distance on that. Got away with it though. I mean, they're hard to smack those right in the top corner, but decent effort. What a great ebb and flow to it though, because for quite a while Portsmouth were under enormous pressure and just kind of hanging in there. Two centre-backs have done ever so well. And yet they find the reserves of energy to respond like that again. It's terrific stuff.
Bentley, Luka, Finnan. Well, he kept it from Crouch, and that was his intention.
Yeah, I think you're always hoping that you just get this right, because we know he's trying to poke it wide. It was a little closer, I think, than David James would have liked.
Bentley's corner, Piquion's header away, chased up by Huddleston. And Yebda out of a corner. Forward again from Bale. Mullins with a header from the right-back position.
It's a bit early to start thinking extra time and penalties, isn't it? I guess here we have Gomez got good practice at Sunderland last week, I suppose.
Yes. But Tottenham's penalty record, we'll come to it,
Yeah.
Tottenham's penalty record this season is poor, and their penalty shootout record for quite a while has been very poor. They won't want penalties. Only 2 penalties Spurs have scored this season. Robbie Keane. Here's Modric. Bentley, clear of Brown. Couldn't get the in-whip he was after.
Yeah, you can see the disappointment. And Chorluka created the space for him. Chorluka made the little overlap. Look, he takes Mullins with him. That allows him to come inside Brown and right across it.
David Bentley, whose own last Wembley memory before today was missing a penalty in a shootout against Manchester United in the League Cup final last March. It's becoming a pertinent topic, only just, but we are a quarter of an hour away from extra time, and there must be a winner today somehow. Palacios, Bale, face to face with Finnan, driving past him and aiming it in at Crouch, for whom the angle just became prohibitive.
Well, he's in a little unlucky, Bale, because I just think he's terrific at what he does and getting forward like that. I mean, the athleticism is brilliant, but the angle was just against Peter Crouch from the cross. He did all he could, but just couldn't get his head around it enough to just direct it past the post. Just kind of clips the edge of it, and Portsmouth survive again.
Took Harry Redknapp a while to get to his first cup final. I suppose if let's see Boateng here, Dawson across.
I think he's probably spent sufficient time on the edge of that seat to be happy, Harry.
I suppose when he reached his first cup final, he would have felt a little like Tony McCoy yesterday, finally doing it after many, many tries. Crouch, flung wide by Pavlyuchenko. Bentley's won a corner.
Well, it looked at Mullins complains to the assistant, but it looked as if Bentley just poked it off him.
Bentley's take. Crouch has peeled away. Huddleston feeds it in. Roche's header clear. Dindan to hold it for Pompey if he can. Yebda Kevin Prince Boateng. Checks away from Basson. Yebda. Boateng. Wilson. Yebda. Tackle from Bale, right in front of the referee's assistant, who didn't like it.
Well, the ball certainly didn't alter direction, and no, he's absolutely spot on. It was a free kick.
Dindan tripped. Nico Cranshaw, the third of Tottenham's former Pompey boys, hidden behind Stuart Atwell there, will be with us shortly. What a racket from the Pompey fans.
Definitely.
Boateng's take. And Bale clear.
Substitution for Tottenham Hotspur. Coming off the
Player to be withdrawn is David Bentley. Nico Cranshaw, who replaces him, did play the first 5 games of this season for Portsmouth. He made his Spurs debut against Manchester United 3 days after playing in Croatia's 5-1 defeat by England here in September. And now he replaces an English international for the last 12 minutes plus of the Cup semi-final.
Yeah, and he took a bit from the Pompey faithful, didn't he, coming on there, Cranshaw?
He scored against Portsmouth 2 weeks ago. Nico Cranshaw has scored for and against Portsmouth this season. His first duty, though, is to help defend this Portsmouth free kick. Floated in by Wilson, Piquion's gone to ground. Away by Chorluka. Reloaded by Mokoena. Clear from Crouch. Held up by Pavlyuchenko. Taken back by Mokoena. Then stolen by Palacios for Tottenham. Pavlyuchenko's got ahead of him now. Cranshaw has pulled wide. His first touch. Running up Mullins. Clear from Rocha.
Yeah, not the greatest ball in from him, really. Cranshaw was first involvement in the game, but Palacios, I thought, did ever so well in holding that up. Great composure.
Dan Piquion, whose legs just wouldn't work. And they may have to play an extra half hour. 10 minutes to play. Cranshaw. Palacios. Modric. Huddleston kept it for Pavlyuchenko. Referee has pulled it back to, well, the dismay of both teams. Portsmouth, who didn't see an offence, and Tottenham, who would much rather have been able to play advantage there with Chorluka in plenty of space.
Well, no surprise that Michael Brown is the one being called by the referee.
Michael Brown played most of his Spurs career under Martin Jol between 2004 and 2006. He was sent off against Spurs in October. He stayed out of the book for now. Floated in by Huddleston. Wilson was up with Crouch. And Finnan will take the throw.
Very well defended again, I thought, by Wilson. He's dropped in a couple of times to deny Crouch.
Kranjčar. For his countryman Luka. And now Dawson. Palacios. Luka. And away heroically again by Rocha.
And anything that's played across the 6-yard box like that, then invariably he's either there on McQuaina. Time of the game as well, Peter. You know, Wembley's huge surface, energy sapping, and this is when the body begins to tire and the mind goes with it. So, you know, it's very important now to have the main characters in whatever to each team just talking, keeping people going, keeping the concentration levels up, because this is when now you can just get that crucial mistake that can ruin your whole experience.
Kranjčar. Palacios. Mullins for a corner.
I think he was looking for it in the end. Mullins did a good job shutting him out. I think Palacios was just happy to look for that.
Portsmouth's whole season, their reason for joy on this game. Spurs have Arsenal, Chelsea and Manchester United to come critically in the next week or two. Tottenham don't want extra time. Portsmouth will play all night if they need to. Kranjčar deep towards Crouch. Back in for Pavlyuchenko and twitched behind by Boateng.
Oh, there's an appeal from Portsmouth. I thought he was pushing Pavlyuchenko and the referees ignored it. There's Kevin Prince-Boateng. Just watch it as it comes across. Pavlyuchenko. There he goes. No, maybe it's a bit dramatic from Rocha, but there certainly was use of the arm.
Kranjčar again, Crouch again, Luka and Kevin Prince-Boateng on the line. Whether or not the ball was going inside the post.
Well, just as well he didn't leave it really in the end, because I'm not sure whether it was going in, but I don't think it was.
Better safe than sorry. Another Tottenham corner. Kranjčar again. Crouch this time couldn't win it, and Yebda can carry it away. Basson, Bale, Palacios, Modric. Luka, Modric, Pavlyuchenko, clear by Finnan, reclaimed by Basson. Modric pirouetting away from Brown. Palacios couldn't give it him back. Mullins brings it clear. Brown asks Piquion to set off and go ahead of him, but I'm afraid the Frenchman's not that quick.
It was just a much simpler ball, wasn't it? All he had to do was play it around Luka and just to his feet. Piquion had no intention of making that run over the top. The two fullbacks for Tottenham now, just keeping the width in the play for Tottenham.
Kranjčar, Luka. Tackle from Boateng, back in fancifully by Kranjčar.
Well, that has gone down well at the Pompey end.
Substitution coming off the field, number 32.
Portsmouth change. Place of Hassan Yebda. This is, on the face of it, a pretty offensive move from Avram Grant. In place of Yebda, it is the Nigerian John Utaka. who returned to fitness last week after a period out with a groin strain. It was he who set up the winning goal in the cup final 2 years ago for Canu. He didn't play in the semi-final that year. Milan Baros was preferred to him. So this is his first taste of this particular sort of occasion. Yebda's race has run.
Yeah, he's going to play a wider role. He's going to come to the left side, John Utaka, and it means Kevin Prince Boateng is going to tuck into the centre now, alongside Mark Wilson and Michael Brown. I wondered for a moment, I thought it'd be pretty daring for Avram Grant to actually do that. I wondered if he was going to just go 4-4-2 and get a little bit of help up there with Picky on, but no, it's the same formation as we saw before.
Or even lose all his inhibitions and go 4-2-4. That would have been exciting. Brown. Boateng. Utaka. Fresh legs. The drive of John Utaka. And the cover of Michael Dawson, who surrenders a corner. With 90 seconds of 90 minutes to play.
Anticipated it really well, Michael Dawson. If he did get past Chorluka, he wasn't going to get past him.
Utaka exchanging with Boateng, who chases at Modric. Dawson's header out. Utaka. Boateng.
That was a little wasteful. I mean, very speculative from that range.
Avram Grant's only trip to Wembley with Chelsea was for the 2008 League Cup final. Harry Redknapp was also involved that day and has been since. High foot from Crouch.
He pulled out of it, and Rocha luckily saw it coming as well and didn't compete. He's not happy with Crouch, just a little gentle shove away. But I mean, Crouch, just watch Peter Crouch in the end, realised he could catch him on the head, and he doesn't, he pulls out of it, so I don't know why he's upset, Rocha. Crouch did him a favour.
2 minutes will be added on at the end of the 90. Cranchar. Stoppage time at Wembley. Chelsea still don't know. Finnan dealt with the cross of Palacios, but it came to Modric, and Bale is galloping up. Gareth Bale for Tottenham Hotspur. Crouch! Great save! Bale! No!
Brilliant save this time from David James. But again, the run from Bale is just so clever, and Modric finds him between the two Portsmouth players, just drills it across, and Crouch knows all he has to do is redirect it. The pace is on it. David James, tremendous.
Friends, or they used to be. Last minute of stoppage time. Bentley's take, in goes Crouch, away by Picquion. Brown couldn't get there. Luka Modric. And James has fallen on it.
Can't be any fingernails left at that end after that little spell of pressure. Just got a little deflection nicely into his path then.
You've got to laugh. Skin of their teeth or what?
You begin to wonder whether it's their day, I'll tell you, because by now Tottenham must be thinking we've had enough of the ball, we've had enough pressure, spent enough time in their box to have it won.
Boateng. Dindan. Utaka. Brown's prepared to chase it. The final whistle, but not the final whistle. Harry Redknapp and Avram Grant will come and try and regenerate some energy for some very, very tired legs. Chelsea still wait. There'll be 30 minutes more.
The Cup semi-final has gone extra half hour that the players, I'm sure, don't want, and certainly Tottenham didn't anticipate, but everyone else is relishing it because this has been such a brave performance by Portsmouth. Watched in the studio by Portsmouth, Jamie O'Hara on loan from Tottenham. Nothing short of heroic from Portsmouth.
Yeah, they've been fantastic. They've dug in, they've worked really hard, and I think they can be really proud of what they've done.
What do you reckon they got left?
Not a lot. No, but I think they've got 20 minutes, keep it together, and then save something for the last 10.
Andy Townsend, we saw Harry Redknapp looking concerned as well. He might be. They've battered away Tottenham.
They have. They've got up to a point, haven't they, without really ever looking like they're going to get in behind McQuainer, and Rocha have been excellent for Portsmouth at the back. It's a very, very close one to call. There's this unpredictable nature about Portsmouth, which suggests, they could give something silly away, and then they have Picky on, they have Utaka, people like that could just go and provide them with something out of the blue. It's very, very tough to call. It's Tottenham, you would expect still to have the lion's share of possession during extra time. Should create the more chances, but at the moment, don't discount Pompey. They're very much still in it.
David James, Jamie has certainly played his part. How good are your penalty takers out there?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some confident lads out there, so I don't think we'll be short of people wanting to step up. And obviously, England's #1 in the sticks is the type of person you want on the big occasion.
Well, Avram Grant can be proud of what his side have done so far, but there's more to come as we rejoin Jim Beglin and Peter Drury.
You just don't know. You just don't know. Form has proved to be irrelevant. Portsmouth's ragged recent history has counted for nothing. Spurs and their rich tradition in the Cup has been as nothing. And here we go with half an hour more to establish which of these clubs will line up against Chelsea in the final 5 weeks yesterday. Jim Beglin, you've played a couple of periods of extra time in Cup semi-finals, so tell us what it's like out there.
Well, fatigue, I mean, that becomes your biggest opponent in many ways, and I think for both teams it's a case of carrying on in the same manner almost as you were, but can you? Can every individual just keep going, or will somebody commit a heartbreaking error?
And is there the danger of a sort of numb autopilot kicking in? Is that a danger, or can it be a help to have autopilot on your side?
Well, it can and it can't, but you still need your big characters in the team, the big voices in the team now to be heard more than ever, to make sure that people don't switch off and that runs are covered, people are tracked. So those guys really need to come to the fore now.
Modric steered it intelligently down the line for Bale. Wilson saw the danger, as he has so often on the afternoon. And the Sailor boys from Pompey are still in it. Huddleston.
That would have been Rocha then, wouldn't it? As another one he's gotten away.
Picky on. Utaka. Dindan's gone beyond him. This is Aruna Dindan. Utaka. Get another go. Dindan. Boateng. And clearance from Kranjčar. Won by Pavlyuchenko, but he was backing in.
Yeah, the assistant felt was a little nudge on Mullins. But at least he's got help, Pavlyuchenko. He can try and find Crouch. But Picky on, it's become very hard at times.
Dindan. Picky on! Side netting.
The angle is always against him. It's very acute. And he's got to get through Bassong and then the goalkeeper and Gomez on his near post. You'd be very surprised if that had crept in under him, had it been on target. Worth a pop.
Picky on attempting to add Portsmouth's name to the list of those clubs which have made the FA Cup final in a relegation year. don't think any of the previous incumbents of that column, the last of which, by the way, was Middlesbrough, have been relegated before the semi-final. Middlesbrough 97, coincidentally were beaten in their cup final by Chelsea. Here's Pavlyuchenko. Too far in advance of Crouch.
Yeah, the first touch was lovely from Pavlyuchenko to set him away, and when he realised he couldn't outrun them, he looked inside for his partner. The apologetic hand went up as well, just overdid it.
Incidentally, before Middlesbrough, the last club to reach the cup final in relegation year was another South Coast club, famously Brighton in 1983. They nearly won it. Smith must score. Gary Bailey got in the way.
Jimmy Mealy in his white shoes.
Piquion was caught in the centre circle.
Just a little shake and he's going to be okay. Dawson came quite late on him.
Spurs responding to Pompey's volume now with their long, languid, strung out verse of "Oh, when the Spurs," which accelerates and grows louder.
Well, again, you said in the first half, Peter, I mean, it's been exceptional, the atmosphere. Both sets of fans can be proud of what they've contributed today. Wonderful.
And now they are spurring each other on. Never mind the players. Utaka. Modric. Crouch. Tackle from Mokoena. Crouch. Bale. Modric. Palacios. You see what he was thinking.
Yeah, but didn't really seem to go at it with conviction. I mean, he seemed to look to place it in the end, but just for those couple of seconds he had time, I thought he would have just put the laces through that, just smash it now, and he's gone for a little side foot in the end and got caught betwixt and between.
Day for him, his first at Wembley. He was cup tied for last year's League Cup final.
Say, I mean, the pitch may have its problems here, but there's nothing wrong with the acoustics. A bit special.
Dindan for Piquion. Do turning it down, actually. Some of us are trying to hear ourselves think. Pardon? Thumped out by Mokoena. Really is absolutely excellent here today, and whichever of these clubs does go forward to play Chelsea, you Chelsea fans had better gird your loins, because it's going to be quite a challenge for you. Cranchar kicked up kindly for James.
Yeah, it's Adam, which I think he welcomed, judging by the smile. I suppose a goalkeeper's always fearing, is he going to get an awkward bounce? Is he going to hit a sod or a piece of loose turf?
Brown. Piquion. Oh, beautifully judged and dropped for Boateng and twitched away by Bale from in front of Dindan.
Again, it's a wonderful reply from Portsmouth again. That ball over the top from Piquion was a dream. Great ball. Boateng's done the right thing. Just can't find Dindan, and Bale was in control.
A quarter of extra time has passed. Brown's take, Wilson's leap. Clear by Cranchar, Pavlyuchenko forward, Rocha with an awkward bounce. Pavlyuchenko went for goal. Rocha's apologising, but in fact his header is what pushed the Russian wide.
That was a mistake by the centre-back though, and I think, you know, in the end he knew he had no support, nothing was arriving quickly enough, and I think he's right to have a go at it. Tough one.
Five cracks at goal, none on target.
Little nudge again, Dawson and Picquion.
Season's not over yet. At least 21 minutes of meaningful football left, made 21 minutes and a cup final for relegated Portsmouth. In by Wilson, down by Boateng, Picquion! Chimes for Pompey!
Well, he won the free kick from Dawson to begin with, and it's just not won on the first one. Dawson slips, so the pitch has had something to do with it again on the goal. Dawson goes down, and Picquion just fires it right through Gomez's legs before he can even get set to deal with it. It's instinctive, it's opportunistic, and amazingly, Portsmouth have got the lead. Incredible.
Would you believe it? He wouldn't. They just might. The FA Cup again showcases its capacity for producing the fantastically illogical, for making the almost impossible seem plausible. Pavlyuchenko, crouch going in.
Well, David James is furious with his defence for not stopping that. Does this clip the outside of the post? I mean, Pavlyuchenko does the right thing. It does, you know. It just clips the outside of the post. I mean, it's close. Well, I mean, what a reply that would have been had it sneaked in. I didn't think it could get any louder.
Down, but not out. This was supposed to be the semi-final. Spurs couldn't lose. The FA Cup's romance is not just for rounds 1, 2, 3, 4. Romance all the way to the semi-final in 2010. Portsmouth bust and broken, but winning. And plotting their path back to Wembley, but with the better part of 20 minutes to hang on. Bale, clear of Finnan, wonderful spin, in by Bale. James has lost it. Crouch! 1-1!
Free kick.
No! No, no, no!
I think it's for David James. I'm not sure there's an awful lot in this. James came to try and get it. I'm not sure who impeded him. Whether it was one of his own players or whether it was something from Tottenham. But I think Bale has been outstanding again. I mean, a great burst once more. And he stands up a beautiful ball. And that's the one, isn't it? It's Cronshaw. I mean, is it really? It's very, very little from the Croatian, I think. Obviously, the referee felt that he jumped into David James. There might have been a little push from behind. And Crouch thinks he's got the equaliser by turning it in. Whistle had gone. I guess goalkeepers get those these days, don't they? Soft for me.
I think that is.
Oh, by the way, look at that reaction. I think he knows it too.
That's another big refereeing call in the semi-finals. There is a debate to be had about that, but here is Modric for Spurs. Running at Finnan, in by Pavlyuchenko, out by Mokwena, and Pavlyuchenko will let it roll. Gudjonsson for Huddleston is the Tottenham change. 3 strikers on now. Aimed in by Modric, out by Brown. Here goes Utaka. Dindan up alongside, Picquion getting there when he can. There's not much left in his legs.
He did really, really well again. Just to hold up that, Utaka.
Modric. Palacios with a tired pass.
Yeah.
The life of a Portsmouth fan. Emotionally draining one way or another. What happens next? Into the Championship, perhaps via the Cup final. Modric, Crouch, Cranchar. Away from Mullins, but against the ubiquitous Rocha. Utaka. Wilson. Utaka. Dindan. Tackled by Basson. Last 30 seconds of the first period of extra time. To which 1 minute will be added.
Yeah, he's just playing behind.
Gudjonsson. Pavlyuchenko was offside, actually. Was offside before the challenge from McQuaina.
Yeah, I think Harry Redknapp has just said to Gudjonsson, just go out and get a feel for it. Just play wherever you feel it's required.
What a day of mental confusion for Harry Redknapp. He knows those fans know him. Avram Grant, Chelsea. Personal agendas and major crowd agendas. Two years ago, Portsmouth won their semi-final 1-0. They won their final 1-0. Since then, they've been to the Community Shield and drawn 0-0 against Manchester United. They haven't conceded a goal in 3 games at New Wembley, Portsmouth. They lead 1-0 again. They have a free kick in added time at the end of added time at the end of this half.
That's what I'm just thinking. I mean, you know, they might have been thinking about protecting what they've got. If they could add another one to it now. Oh.
Boateng. That does for now. Portsmouth are ahead. Unthinkably, Portsmouth are ahead. Frederick Piquion snatched his moment. And those fans who don't know how to lie down and die, they've had more cause than most, have every reason to feel alive. Pompey, a quarter of an hour from the cup final.
And such strong character being shown by Portsmouth here this afternoon. Up in the studio we've got Jamie O'Hara of Portsmouth on loan from Tottenham. Portsmouth have got the goal. How are your nerves at this moment?
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous now. Obviously 15 minutes, the lads have got to stick in, you know, really dig deep. It's you know, the biggest part of the season for us now.
The big message from Avram Grant at this point will be what? Discipline, keep the ball somehow.
Yeah, try and keep the ball, you know, don't commit too many bodies forward and you get done in the counter-attack, and you know, really just defend for your lives.
Andy Townsend, what will be Harry's plan?
Well, he needs someone to produce something very special for him now. It's whether they've got the energy levels in the team. The only one I can see that looks like he's capable of getting to the byline, to get into an area, to get in behind Portsmouth is Gareth Bale. He's the one that's been doing it consistently. Got players like Gudjonsson, got all of those players that are very good on the ball, but are all this side of the game. Tottenham, I don't think, have just got in behind Portsmouth enough. When they have, they haven't really been able to create one of those stick-on chances for a Crouch or for a Pavlyuchenko. So Avram Grant and his players will know we've just got to keep on going. They've just got to get around people, fight for every ball. Quarter of an hour, as tired as you are, it's a lot harder when you're chasing a game in this situation than it is when you're in front.
Jamie, we saw a big smile from David James when that goal was disallowed. What was your view of that?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously he's come for it. He didn't quite get on it. I mean, then maybe there was a push. You know, it's maybe a soft one, but you know, to win the cup final, you know, to get to the final, you've got to get your bit of luck. You know, we've got that there.
How big is this 15 minutes coming up for Portsmouth Football Club?
Yeah, I think you know, everyone involved at the club, all the players out there. I think this is probably you know, one of the biggest moments of their careers, and you know, hopefully now we can just hold in there. You know, watch the clock go down and celebrate getting to the final.
It's Portsmouth ahead. It's Tottenham under pressure. The second 15 minutes, Jim Beglin and Peter Drury once again.
And I wonder, Steve, what Chelsea folk are thinking. What do they want to happen? Chelsea Spurs has a lovely ring about it, parochially speaking. But Chelsea have won their last 5 meetings against Portsmouth, including a 5-0 win last month. They've won those 5 meetings by an aggregate of 16-1. Chelsea are unbeaten in their last 28 meetings against Pompey. If you're a Chelsea Blue, you wouldn't mind meeting the Pompey Blues here next month. But then Tottenham's always a delicious challenge. Here's Gudjonsson once off Chelsea. Basson, Pavlyuchenko, Palacios, Crouch, and Bale, and it's squeezed up for James.
Well, judging by that, this is going to be the longest 15 minutes of some of those players' lives. I mean, in the end, Peter Crouch just kind of crowded out, really, and once it comes to Bale, it's kind of a block tackle which finds its way through, but not threatening David James. I just think, though, Peter, I mean, if Portsmouth could hang on, it would be an amazing story. And, I mean, for these players, the way the season has gone, pressure-free month.
Gareth Bale is feeling anything but pressure-free. Pavlyuchenko,
no control in it. He can't direct it. I mean, Bale again is the source, the supply. Fantastic. I just admire him constantly. We've seen him throughout this campaign, and he's just brilliant at doing this and getting service into the box. He's stretching, and easy for the goalkeeper again. But I was just going to say, for Portsmouth, should they manage to come through it, a pressure-free month of just great excitement. Oh, what a buzz.
And for many of these players, if they're allowed to play in the cup final, which isn't straightforward, here's Palacios and Crouch and Rocha away from Gudjonsson. For many of these players, their last ever game for Portsmouth would be the cup final.
Yeah, listen, yeah, and what a lovely issue to have, whether they can or can't make it.
Basson, offside Gudjonsson.
Yeah. Shouldn't be getting caught. He's looking right across it.
Gudjonsson played in the last FA Cup semi-final, played at the old Wembley against Aston Villa for Bolton, a game that went all the way to penalties.
By the way, I'm just kind of thinking about, you know, the Tottenham viewpoint and all this. I mean, they're chasing on 2 fronts. Want to get to the FA Cup final and, of course, 4th spot in the Premier League. And I mean, this game's pivotal. I mean, if they do suffer disappointment, huge disappointment in this, with the magnitude of the games they've got to come, that could be very, very tough indeed. Arsenal Wednesday, Chelsea, Manchester United.
Arsenal will be loving every minute of this. Palacios drifted towards Bale, who hasn't done a lot wrong on the day.
That was a hard one.
He's got an engine, that boy. Picking a team for the final would be a problem Avram Grant would love. Dindan, Piquion, Wilson. In steps Chorluka. Spurs have used all 3 of their substitutes. What they have on now, they have to stay with. Pompey still have two in the bag. Cranchar away from Mullins. Clean tackle from Brown.
Stay down, Cranchar. But it looked good to me. I'd go with you, Peter. Brown was hard, but seemed to be fair.
Cranchar's up again now.
Mind you, kind of both legs, I suppose, have come round Cranchar's left. I must admit, it looked a bit worse than I first thought.
It is a real problem for Harry Redknapp, who, as I say, has no one with whom to replace Nico Cranchar.
I don't think it's too bad. I mean, he's hobbling a little bit.
Bale. Good Johnson. Bale. Cranchar. Mullins in the way. Corner.
Well, was it a handball from Cranchar? Portsmouth appealed, but Rocha got the block in again. Rocha yet again.
A feverish desperation about Tottenham. Up gets Dawson. And away by Brown, and now look at all the space that Utaka has. This can seal the game. It's 2 against 1. Utaka, Dindan.
Poor first ball.
And Modric got back.
Poor first ball from Utaka. I thought he could have taken it on a little bit more and then looked to find Dindan.
Chorluka. Cranchar. Over the shoulder of Crouch. Flung beyond Pavlyuchenko, header away by Mullins, gathered by Dawson.
Well, again, he's got company. Brown and Picquion close by. Had to take it with his left.
It's the big fella, the enforcer, Papa Bouba Diop. That is a hold what we have, substitute if ever there was one. This is no time for complication, no time for fancy dance. The potential match winner has run his race. What Picquion has given to Portsmouth, Diop is charged with keeping. Gomez has waved everyone forward. And made a mess of the free kick.
Yeah, and I mean with the change, Peter, Utaka's the one now just kind of on his own up front. That's a poor ball.
Chorluka, Cranchar.
He atoned for that, Mullins. You know, made it his business to get a tackle in on Cranchar.
Modric, Palacios, both Tottenham fullbacks entirely committed to attack now. In by Chorluka, on by Crouch, out by the excellent Wilson. Basson. Modric. Bale. Cries of handball. Again, nothing given.
Well, he looked to have his back to it almost in the end, Finnan. But the control, the run, the control, and the fact that he was trying to get something in again. Look at that, brilliant control, and then smacking it in. Caught him on the back, not the arm.
Alan Wiley had the half smile of a man who knew. Modric. Bale. Clear of Finnan. Gareth Bale. Choluka! Smothered by James.
Just took too long for him to get it down. It wouldn't sit down for him.
James has come to get it again. He's not going into middle-age decline yet, David James, in his 40th year. He's flung it forward for Dindan, who's got away from Palacios. Aruna Dindan, penalty! Wilson Palacios, it's going to get worse for him, I think. He did get a toe on the ball.
You know,
He got a toe on the ball, Jim.
you just look at it from a referee's viewpoint. I was thinking penalty, he's got to give it, because once you get yourself in that position as a defender chasing back, it's always awkward. But it's a very, very tough one for a referee. It looks penalty, but he does get something on the ball. Yeah,
He's got a yellow card, which brings him a two-match ban. He misses Arsenal and Chelsea. He might be back for a Chelsea Cup final, though. Kevin Prince Boateng. It's Pompey!
Goal scorer for Portsmouth, number 23, Kevin Prince Boateng.
At the expense of the man who brought them here 2 years ago.
well, there's pressure on this because this gives them breathing space. I mean, this should secure it as a very, very good spot kick. Conviction, picked his spot out of the goalkeeper's reach, and surely now.
An exceptional story of a club against the world, in adversity, without a penny to its name, relegated one day, heading to the cup final the next. Choluka, Tranchar, Spurs have to score now. Foul by Diop. 2.5 minutes to play.
Bale fancies it. Well, I mean, it's emptying so quickly, isn't it, at the Tottenham end?
A personally painful day for Harry Redknapp. Dreadful for him. David James, moments from a 4th FA Cup final. Gareth Bale to test him. Now or never. It's a waste. Boateng's booted it away.
Well, it was designed to get Choluka and the other fullback, and nowhere near. Just to go back to the penalty as well, Peter. You know, nowadays, if the attacking player just gets a run like that, they're going down. You know, they all do these days. No surprise there is in Russia. Outstanding.
Eon man of the match, Ricardo Rocha. Fantastic centre-half. Hayden Mullins is withdrawn for the final seconds. Richard Hughes, who was due to have begun the game but had a problem in training yesterday. It's being given the last minute. Bale. He's got a corner, that's probably not enough. Too late now. Amid a South Coast din, Harry Redknapp can only ponder. Bale's take, Dawson won't get that. Lucas throw. A chip on fit and that'll do nicely for Portsmouth.
I hope the referee doesn't book Basson here. He is. It's just pure frustration and disappointment now. Just to boot the ball away after the decision went against them. I think both sides, though, looking back on this game, Peter, deserve great credit, deserve applause for putting everything into it they've got. But particularly Portsmouth. I mean, congratulations all around. I didn't really feel they could pull it off, but this is fantastic carrot, an amazing spirit for them to keep going and make it to an FA Cup final in the circumstances. Incredible.
Crouch. Surely too late for Spurs. Good Johnson. Palacios. They've got to lift themselves for Arsenal next. The dying embers of Tottenham's Cup season. In by Luka. Out for Dindan. He could have half the pitch to himself again here with Utaka ahead of him. And Luka labouring. It's John Utaka. Oh, that's a good save by Gomez.
That's great play. I mean, the run for the penalty, whatever about the decision, was brilliant from Dindan, and it's great work again from Dindan. Then the shot from Utaka and Gomez. Oh, it's a great save, but I think it all means very little now. I think Portsmouth are there.
Modric belts it forward. Alan Wiley's had another look at his watch. Rocher on halfway. Half the ground is empty. How has that happened? How on earth has that happened? It's Portsmouth. Extraordinarily so. Against all odds. In the face of seemingly perpetual adversity. At the expense of the boss who won the cup with them. Bust and dysfunctional. Relegated on Saturday. Cup finalists by Sunday night. Pompey, Chelsea. Avram Grant, who was a post-switch from the European Cup with Chelsea, will now pit himself against them for the FA Cup. 2 years since Moscow. Wembley again for Avram. The noisiest fans in the land have reason to crank it up a notch again. Avram Grant, whose sloping shoulders have borne so much this uproarious season of chaos and trauma. Brings to bear now a collective smile on Portsmouth faces which almost defies belief. How are Portsmouth having a party at the end of this season? This season. But they are, and they will be back here next month. 2 goals in extra time, Piquion and Boateng, and their captain David James is with net. David, put that into words.
Superb, absolutely superb. We deserved the win, played very well throughout the team to a man. Look what it means to Pompey, fantastic.
The noise was unbelievable, the tactics were spot on, and the belief seemed to be there throughout.
The gaffer's been drumming it into us this week. It's a great occasion for the players. I was told before the game that we were, I think, 8 or 9 to 1 to win the match. We proved people wrong, so fantastic.
And this season, I mean, you've had a long career, David, with some highs and lows. This is right up there, isn't it?
Oh, without doubt. This is encapsulated just about every emotion, I think, in just under a whole season. So to get a final at the end of it all, that's football. It's wonderful.
At Wembley, and for the boss as well, tilted his old club. That's going to mean something.
Lovely. Oh no, today's been superb. If you don't mind, I've got to go and join the team. So.
Do it. Cheers, David. Thank you.
Well, you can't call it cup giant killing, it's something even more than that. Relegated Portsmouth off the footballing scrap heap and into the FA Cup final. And Jamie O'Hara, an emotional Jamie O'Hara, is in the FA Cup final as well. Our studio guest will give his reaction. We'll have the thoughts of Andy Townsend as well in just a couple of minutes. It's amazing.